It's kind of wild when you think about it. Social media, it's everywhere, right? Like, it's how we connect with people, stay updated on, well, everything, even run businesses these days.
It really is.
But there's this part of me, and I'm guessing I'm not alone here, that wonders, is it all good?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you sent over a bunch of articles and research on just that.
Mhm.
Seems like you're on the same wavelength.
Definitely. I mean, it's a question worth asking, right?
Right?
We've gone from, what, dial-up and those clunky computers to basically the whole world in our pocket.
Right. In what feels like, what, a minute?
Seriously, that's a huge shift.
Huge. So what we're going to do in this deep dive is kind of like a trial. We're going to present the case for social media, all the amazing ways it connects us, empowers people.
Right.
But then we got to flip it and look at the case against the whole algorithm thing, addiction, how it affects like our brains.
It's almost like, holding up one of those magnifying glasses. You see the bright light, but you also see the shadows it casts. Both are important.
Totally. And hopefully by the end of this, everyone listening has a better idea of how to navigate this whole thing.
Because, let's be honest, it's not going away anytime soon.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start positive. Imagine for a second, we're back in the 90s, and we're trying to explain social media to someone as this brand new thing. What's the good news?
Oh, man. Well, for starters, no more waiting for letters, right? Or those long-distance bills that were so expensive.
Yes, the worst.
Global, instant communication. That's got to be at the top of the list. But it goes beyond just, like, chatting with your family. Think about how people can share news that's not making it to the mainstream media.
This is for us.
And journalism, right? Or movements like #MeToo that gain traction globally. Even just learning a new skill because of a YouTube video. That's power in the hands of everyday people.
And it's not just some, like, theoretical power either.
Yeah.
It creates real change. We've seen it with fundraising, those viral campaigns for, like, medical bills, disasters, even just that sense of community people find online, especially if they're, feeling isolated in their offline lives.
Oh, absolutely. And the economic impact is huge, too. Like, whole new types of businesses exist now because of social media. You've got people building empires online, selling products, becoming influencers. It's a completely different landscape.
So yeah, the pro-social media side is making a pretty strong argument. But like any good trial, there are two sides. And, well, it's not always sunshine and, like, cute animal videos out there in the digital world, is it?
Definitely not. I mean, it's great to celebrate how we can connect, but we also have to be real about the downsides, the
Mhm.
potential for isolation, for people to feel addicted, and the really real impact it can have on mental health. That comparison game is tough.
It's funny, isn't it? Like, we can celebrate all the good stuff, but then there's that other side. I'm scrolling through, vacation pics, and I catch myself feeling that twinge of envy. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be relaxing here, not comparing my life to everyone else's highlight reel.
Right, that's the comparison trap for sure. And it's like it's almost built into these platforms, you
Yeah.
know? We're talking about this whole attention economy where the goal is to keep us hooked, even if it's not always, the healthiest thing for us.
Yeah, and a big part of that is what algorithms. I got to be honest, algorithms still feel kind of mysterious to me, like this invisible force controlling everything I see.
It's almost like think of social media as a giant vending machine, okay?
Okay.
Every click, every comment you make, it's like you're putting in a coin
Yeah.
and you're telling the machine what you want.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
The algorithm is that mechanism inside, figuring out what you like and then showing you more and more of it. Whether it's actually good for you or not is, well, another story.
That's why I swear, I tell someone I need new shoes, and suddenly my entire feed is footwear ads.
Exactly. And that's, like you said, just the tip of the iceberg because those algorithms, they're not just deciding what you buy, they're also shaping what news you see, what opinions you come across. That's where that echo chamber thing everyone talks about comes into play.
Oh yeah, you mentioned earlier all that stuff about political polarization,
Mhm.
and that's such a good example, right? It's not like people are always intentionally searching for the most extreme views,
Right.
but we end up in these online spaces where it's like everything we already think just louder and louder.
It's like imagine you're in a hall of mirrors, but instead of your reflection, it's just your own opinions being shown back to you. And off those reflections get kind of distorted?
Kind of terrifying when you put it like that. So is digital literacy like the key to breaking out of that?
I think so, yeah. It's almost like having this built-in BS detector. You learn how to look at information, figure out if you're being manipulated, and just navigate this whole online world in a way that's safe, but also, in a way that makes you think critically.
But in a world of clickbait and stuff that's just straight up made up going viral,
Mm.
How do we even start with that? Is this something you can learn, or are some of us just, like, destined to be fooled?
No, no, you can absolutely learn it. It's like anything else, right? It takes a bit of practice, a bit of paying attention.
Yeah, makes sense.
Start questioning those headlines that seem too crazy to be true, because often they are. Look for like where the information's coming from. Is it a source you trust? Try to see different sides of an issue, and for the love of all that is good, fact check before you share something.
Okay, so we can all become, like, more savvy online citizens,
Yeah.
but, I mean, shouldn't there be some kind of rules in place, too? Social media is so powerful, you'd think there'd be more, I don't know, regulations or something to keep people safe.
Oh, there are definitely people talking about that big time. Some folks are saying we need stricter rules about how companies collect our data, what they're allowed to show us, maybe even holding them responsible when misinformation spreads, or if it's really harming people's mental health.
It makes you wonder, right? I mean, we regulate food, medicine, all sorts of things. So why not what we're exposed to online?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's tricky, right? Because there are good arguments on both sides. Some people worry that too many rules will lead to censorship, that it'll stifle creativity and innovation, or even, go against freedom of speech.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot where we have some responsibility as individuals, but there's also some like collective action happening.
And that takes us right back to that middle ground idea.
Yeah.
Because even without new laws, there's a lot we can do ourselves to have a healthier relationship with all this, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, we've talked about the good, the bad, and the algorithmic side of social media. But what do we actually do with all this? How do we become those, like, mindful, empowered users we keep mentioning?
Well, it's not like flipping a switch, right? It's more about making small changes consistently. Think of it like, building any good habit. You need that awareness, you got to be intentional, and yeah, a little discipline never hurt.
Okay, so break it down for us. What are some things people can actually start doing, like today? Because I'm guessing delete all your accounts isn't exactly realistic for most folks.
You'd be surprised, actually. Even taking a short break can be huge.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Just a day or two can help you reset. You break those patterns, where you just automatically scroll without thinking, and it reminds you there's this whole world happening offline.
You know what? I actually did that recently, called it a Sunday Screen Sabbath.
I love it.
And it was amazing. Read a book, went for a walk, even had a, like, real-life conversation with another human. Imagine that.
It's easy to forget how good that feels. But I mean, obviously, we can't completely disconnect forever. So what about all those other days?
Right.
I think it's about being more mindful when you are online. Start with like an audit of your feeds. Who are you following?
Okay.
Do those accounts bring you joy? Do they teach you something new? Do they inspire you? If not, unfollow, hit that mute button, heck, block them if you have to.
Yeah.
You get to decide what your online experience is like.
It's like Marie Kondoing your social media. If it doesn't spark joy, gotta get rid of it.
Exactly. And while we're talking about joy, remember, we can be the ones putting it out there too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Imagine if every time you logged on, you left a nice comment or shared something uplifting or just, help someone doing good work get a little more attention. We can all be part of that, and it makes a difference.
From doom scrolling to joy scrolling. I like that a lot. And it sounds like being picky about who we follow is huge. It's so easy to get sucked into the negativity vortex online. But what if we, like, actively looked for the good stuff?
At 100%. Fill your feed with experts you respect, organizations that are doing work you believe in, even just accounts that make you laugh or remind you of, like, your hobbies. You're basically taking back control instead of letting the algorithm decide what you see.
And speaking of the algorithm, we can't exactly control it, but we can be smarter about how we, react to it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, those things are designed to get us hooked. So anything you can do to, I don't know, throw a wrench in the works, that's a win in my book.
Right.
Watch out for those clickbait headlines trying to get a rise out of you.
Yeah.
Be wary of stuff that's just meant to make you angry. And don't be afraid to, like, literally put your phone down and step away if you feel yourself getting sucked in.
It's about remembering you have that control, that you can choose how you spend your time and, honestly, your mental energy. Because let's be real, how often do you finish scrolling and think, wow, I feel so much better now?
Not very often.
Right, exactly. Social media can be great. It can help us connect. It can teach us stuff. It can be fun. But it's about being deliberate about how we use it, setting some intentions and remembering there's a whole offline world out there too.
So well said. And on that note, dear listener, we'll leave you with this. Next time you unlock your phone, think of it this way. You're not just opening an app. You're unlocking the potential to make things a little bit better. So be the one who decides what your online experience is all about and watch what happens. It might just surprise you. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and happy diving.